Good morning, Patrick here from Complete Health. And I want to talk about the factor that's involved with pretty much every single disease that we know to man, and that is inflammation. With every single disease, pretty much that we know of, there's almost always some sort of inflammatory response. So say, for example, something like a sprained ankle would involve an inflammatory response of your ankle. Something like high blood pressure typically happens when we get inflammation in our blood vessels and we start to get atherosclerosis or clotting on the inside of the blood vessels, and the blood vessels start to narrow. Why? Well, the tissues start to inflame, the blood cells start to stick, and we get this coagulation or this kind of sticky gunk that sticks to the inside of our blood vessels. Now, this all starts with inflammation, and then it solidifies over time as we start to lay calcium deposits over it, which can make our blood vessels stiff, and again, can start to lead to stuff like high blood pressure. We can see it in pretty much any organ disease, like renal failure, kidney problems, diabetes is an inflammation of the pancreas, and all of these diseases will start to make tissues function or dysfunction in a particular way. But what's the cause? What is the cause of inflammation? Now, what we know, there are pretty much three main umbrella factors that most diseases will be triggered by, or inflammation is triggered by these three major factors in a person's lifestyle. Physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. Now ask yourself, in your life, are you toxic or deficient in any of those areas? Now let me explain. To be toxic in your physicality would be to be moving in a way that's going to damage your body, e.g. lifting within proper form in the gym. Whereas to be deficient in that area would be to not move enough. So if your basic level of requirement is as a minimum to start doing 10 to 15,000 steps a day, because that's what your body needs as a minimum, and you're not succeeding in that, your body is deficient in those areas and you're not meeting the basic needs. So if you look at any of those three areas, same again with physical, emotional stress. Are you toxic? Are you in a relationship that is detrimental? Are you arguing with someone? Maybe you have a detrimental relationship with someone at work, or a partner, or a spouse, or a child, or whoever it is. That stress can be too much. But in the same sense, right now, and we're seeing this a lot in the world, is, are you deficient? Are you getting enough social interaction? Now, in dietary terms, we talk about stuff like chemicals, and most people have heard of the term oxidisation. Now, oxidisation is where we have free radicals in the body that actually attack our cells, and actually they can start to cause aging in our cells. And again, this is all part of the inflammatory response. But what we eat within our diet, especially in plant-based products, is we get a lot of antioxidants and vitamins and minerals. Now, the purpose of these vitamins and minerals is they're supposed to clear up and suck up some of the free radicals that are in our body and actually reverse that inflammation process. This is why you're seeing so many documentaries on stuff like The Game Changers and What the Health and Forks Over Knives, all these documentaries on a predominantly plant-based diet, because what they see is it has a huge impact on the way that people's inflammation starts to occur, not just necessarily in their physicality, but they even did blood tests in the Game Changers, and you could see the amount of inflammation that came down within their blood cholesterol levels. And again, having a high blood cholesterol level eventually over time leads to inflammation in our arteries and clotting. So ask yourself the question, are you toxic and deficient in any of the three areas? And if you are, what can you do in order to actually reduce that toxicity or increase something so that you're no longer deficient? Because like I say, health is all about moving enough, eating well enough, and thinking well enough. And if we can manage those three umbrellas 80% of the time, because this is really kind of the laws of the universe and laws of the world, is that if you look at pretty much everything falls into this kind of 80-20 rule. I know that the example that was always used to me is 80% of the shots in golf are always played in the last 20% of the game. Or 80% of the world's population lives on 20% of the planet, etc., etc., etc. So have a look at your life. See if you're toxic or deficient in your social or mental well-being. See if you're toxic or deficient in your physical well-being. And see if you're toxic in your in your chemical well-being. See if there are areas that you can improve in diet, improve in reducing the chemicals in your lifestyle, improving on your mental well-being, improving on your physical levels of activity, or even maybe you're doing enough exercise, but you just need to iron out the creases on how you're doing the exercises so you're not to injure yourself. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful. It's Patrick here from Complete Health, and we'll speak to you again soon.